Hello, I'm making this video in regards to a Mr. Dale Davis that we have here on a thread of Danielle Herbert answering in regards to the Republicans set up roadblocks to compromise progress. Well, apparently what's been going on for years is progress. How I simply view it is the complete annihilation on individual freedoms and liberties. And a lot of people love to call it progress because they love to say, well, we live in a modern society. And when I bring these issues up about, you know, freedom, liberties, constitutional principles that made this country great, they just roll their eyes and say we live in a modern society, like we're supposed to completely ignore it. People often wonder, why don't people get along? Well, it's because you keep forcing people to want to live lives that they're not were granted to live. Trying to deny their unalienable rights from their creator. You know, to allow a bunch of bureaucrats to totally regulate their lives, control their lives, all in the name of it's a modern society. It's ridiculous. It's bunk. And November 2nd, 2010, the American people clearly spoke out against Obamacare. That's what that was about, no matter what you might say, but it was about people waking it up and realizing what this man has done in 2 years' time. Now, before I go any further, I'm not no fan of Bush either, too. Lay that on the record. I don't play the party lines, okay? But, let's just go down here a little bit. And let's just read some of the stuff here, okay? Uh, Dale Davis, Robert Kupis. Conservatives have been claiming that our government has been violating the Constitution, but with the exception of certain provisions of the new Arizona immigration law, I am unaware of any other violations. Well, before we even go any further, I'll tell you that the health care reform is a complete violation, but I'll explain a little later. But let's just keep on reading what you're saying. But here you're saying that the Arizona immigration law is a complete violation of the Constitution when the law itself is a complete mirror of the federal law. The only difference is Arizona is going to enforce it. So the Constitution is a binding contract between the people, we the people of America, not foreigners, of the United States. It's a binding contract on how we are to be governed. That's all what it is, okay? You don't get rights from the Constitution whatsoever. Your rights are declared in the Declaration of Independence, and they're through our Creator, as it stipulates in it, okay? So, the Constitution is just a binding contract protecting those rights. Okay. The government has police powers that allows them to do just about anything. Wrong. They do not have police. I mean, just read the amendments. I mean, they cannot just barge in your house. You're in error there, big time, sir. I don't know where you get this ideal. You've been watching too much TV. Maybe what's that? The police shows. Like SUV. All that stuff. Uh, Law and Order. Or watching Cops. That's another joke there. They continue to violate poor saps' rights every day on them shows. I even know police officials, high people. My wife was with Palm Beach County Police Department. Her sergeant says, don't watch that show because that's inappropriate police procedures that they apply there. the Constitution protects people against tyranny. Okay? And that's what people was talking about Tuesday night. That's why they voted that way. But the basis of the government being of the people and by the people must bend to the will of the majority of the American people. No, it does not. We do not have a democracy. That's what what sounds like we're trying to explain here. I challenge you. Where in the Constitution is the word democracy? Nowhere. We have a constitutional republic. That's what we have. Okay? In order for something the government does to be ruled unconstitutional, it generally must violate rights and freedoms of the people. No. Yeah, of course. And they do that. Taking the health care bill, which conservatives say is unconstitutional, for example, because it mandates people to get coverage and for business to offer coverage. It mandates something that they have no authority to do, to actually force people to buy something. Never in this country history have they had the authority to do it, and they still don't. Nancy Pelosi says, oh, we have the authority to do that through the Commerce Clause. Well, Mr. Davis, you might look at she has the authority through the Commerce Clause, but I don't. I'm not commerce. I'm not a commodity, and I'm not livestock, sir. I'm created out of his image, okay? Sovereign, okay? So, I don't know where it's absolutely amazing how people think, for example, it's just unreal. Best interest of the people. They always say for the best interest. They always justify their reasons for your own good. That's nothing new. It's always more than likely 9 out of 10 times it's a violation of your individual freedom and liberty when they say that. Disguise, wolves in sheep's clothing. If you believe people have the right to health care, polls show that the majority of Americans do believe this. Yeah, but guess what? Obama's and Pelosi's approach was wrong. I'm not saying that there doesn't need to be health care reform, but why should it be monopolized and controlled and government mandated and controlled? Why? It never works that way. Socialism never works. Throughout history, there's not been one society where socialism has not failed. What we need for our healthcare system, sir, is for a free market, less regulations. A free market, allow the world to compete, will bring the prices down, and it would free things up. It's that simple. It'd make it affordable for everyone. But see, the government's always got to have control. So you may not like the mandates and can clearly rally the people against the mandates and possibly get the law repealed or adjusted, but it is unlikely that you could ever prove it unconstitutional. I think I just proved it unconstitutional because of simple fact, I'm not commerce, sir. And Nancy Pelosi says that's the provision that they are able to do it underneath the Commerce Clause. That's absurd. If you think you are commerce, then fine. But that's your beliefs. Don't allow your beliefs to affect my life. See, that's what's happened in this country. You won't believe all this garbage that they could control every aspect of your life? Fine. Godspeed. But don't dare force it on people that believe that believe in the principles that made this country great. That's all I'm trying to explain throughout my conversation here and stuff, and I'm making this video. Hopefully, maybe you can understand a little bit. I'm walking you through your little conversation here that you have me here with, okay? So, you know, And this is what recent lawsuits on the basis have been and are a failing. I don't know what you're talking about there, but all I know is the whole issue with our government, anyway, period, is we don't have separation of the branches no longer anyway. We're not operating. They're not obeying the Constitution. They're not operating in that manner. So that's a big issue. Okay? And this is why the people are upset and justifiable so. And yes, I see your economics for over 20 years, so I do have considerable insight. This is my opinion. You say you're not a constitutional attorney, uh, and you're not expert. You don't have to be a constitutional attorney to be an expert on the Constitution. It's common law. All you got to do is read it. Okay. There is so also significant that no mandating coverage has led to too many people receiving free coverage with the rest of us. I'm glad you bring this up here because I don't know if you're aware of it, sir, but the illegal immigrants are exempt from this a law that they passed. Okay, now it's the illegal immigrants that have really destroyed and run up a lot of the industry itself. The healthcare problem in this country, and that don't seem to be addressed. But I guess immigration reform that they want to work on. Yeah, just amnesty. Yeah, that's like going to fix it. No, it's not going to fix it. Not at all. So that's the problem. Okay. So there. I agree with you about the free coverage. Definitely do. Americans paying their bill in the cost of our premiums. Yes, agreed. The question then becomes which is the lesser of two evils. One, that the insurance pays for the uninsured's health care, or two, that the insured pay for the uninsured to get insured. Either way, the insured must pay, which will you call unconstitutional if one is. Then so it's the other. Okay. Hey, like I said, I agree with you. The system's messed up, but in order, it's you just can't mandate it and control it, and monopolize it like that if they want to do. That's not the answer. It surely is unconstitutional because they don't have the authority to force me to buy their insurance. They don't have it. Clearly. They do not have it. Show me where they have the authority in the Constitution to force me to buy their insurance. They don't have it. I'm not commerce, so don't even. Nancy Pelosi, it's amazing commerce clause. But anyway, sir, I'm gonna end this conversation for right now, and hopefully you get back with me. Okay. Okay. Godspeed.